What's going on, YouTube? Hope y'all had a good weekend and hope you didn't scare yourself too bad over the weekend. I feel like I've seen all kinds of news reports, stuff warning of Black Monday coming. If you don't know what Black Monday was, in 1987, basically just a 1 day, over 20% correction to the stock market in a single day, in October of 87. I tried to look into it a little bit because I knew of the name and knew what it was, but I didn't know what caused it, and it seemed like it was basically algorithmic selling from new computers. Like they were recently had started using computers in stock trading, and just pure panic selling. Like there wasn't really a good catalyst, more just like momentum and people getting scared. And a lot of what this market is right now is the same thing. We've seen huge drawdowns in all the indices. Almost every stock that you can think of is negative over the last couple weeks. We've erased like a year of returns from the S&P 500, I think is what it is. It's not good, honestly. It's bad. But like I said, a lot of this is motivated by just like market sentiment and panic. And like I said, people are predicting a Black Monday. It didn't happen. But speaking of rumors, there was some news reported. As far as I know, it's just a guy on Twitter basically came out and reported that the Trump administration was considering a 90-day pause on all tariffs except Canada. And because of that, roughly $2.5 trillion were added to the market. So stocks jump. This news comes out, all the stocks are like, oh shit, look, they're pausing it. They all start rebounding. They start taking off to the upside. And then like hours later, not even hours later, I feel like, the Trump admin comes out and says, we're not considering that. That was never considered. And then all this tanks. And then the markets all tank again. And there's people all over Twitter talking about this. Basically, like, people make fun of crypto because it's so volatile and so unpredictable and so easily influenced by kind of just random news events and things like that aren't necessarily even financial. But in a lot of ways, like the one tweet I saw was, oh, so the stock market's just meme coins with suits. Like, one guy just lied on Twitter and caused the stock market to move over $2.5 trillion in value in under a day. Like, it's insane. And I think the stat was something crazy like that amount of value right there that moved in that hour or two period is actually more value than moved during 9/11. Like, when those planes hit the World Trade Center, people reacted. As far as, obviously, the market's bigger now because of inflation, all kinds of things, regular growth, inflation. But more money moved in that time period than moved on 9/11, which is just absolutely insane. And in this video, I mean, I don't want to take it too long because there's just not that much to talk about. We're in a correction right now, prompted by tariffs and Trump's policy to kind of, it sounds like they're going to stand strong on it, and they're not backing off. So we'll see what happens tariff-wise, but in long term what the effects are. But as of right now, the stock market's not reacting positively to it. There's tons of articles about people's 401ks and retirements and things like that. I actually argued with a guy in a comment on one of the previous videos. I understand people's concern. Obviously, if your stock market portfolio tanks 20% or whatever over a couple months, it's obviously bad. But if you're retirement age, you shouldn't have money in stocks, at least not heavily weighted in stocks. I haven't personally looked into it all that much. This is just general knowledge is what I'm assuming anyway. If you Google this is what's going to come up roughly. If you're nearing retirement age, you should be diversifying into more stable assets, bonds, other treasuries. I mean, precious metals. A lot of old people like precious metals. I mean, moving into high yield savings accounts right now. You can get 4% on a high yield savings account. Why are you risking your money in stocks? I mean, you could have been buying bonds at getting 5% yield on some of these bonds a little while ago. Why would you risk your money on stocks if you're near retirement age? So I understand that there are some people that probably are suffering from this, but if you would have done your retirement correctly, you shouldn't you really shouldn't even be worried about it if you're near retirement age. People my age, and it seems like a lot of the sentiment online is, if you're like Gen Z or younger millennial, you're like, fuck it, I don't care if the stock market crashes because I don't have any money in the stock market. I think the stats, something like 50% of U.S. citizens own stocks, I guess is the way to say it. So only half of people own stocks, and if you really looked at that number, it's the same as all the other stats that are like this, like wealth numbers. The top 1%, the top 10% own the vast majority of it. If you have a 401, this YouTube channel, I'm trying to change that in theory, like especially for younger people. Now's the time. You want to buy some stuff? Hey, everything's on discount in my mind. The only bad thing about it is I don't have enough money to keep buying. So like you can only buy the dip so many times, and it keeps dipping. Hey, that's just the nature of the beast, I guess. I'll just keep dollar cost averaging in and hope for the best. That's all you can really do. And I mean, what else are you going to use the money for, in my mind, honestly? Stocks overall over the last 100 years or so average 10% returns, and there's corrections littered throughout that process. Like it's just part of what it is. That's how this works. So like I said, I don't want to drag on too long because it's not that much news. It's just, more than anything, I'd advise you, if you're watching this for some reason you're freaking out, I'd say not to panic. If you're near retirement age and you're not set up correctly, hey, I mean, maybe you have a reason to panic. There is some negativity in that, but if you're younger, like I said, a great buying opportunity. If we go lower, even better a buying opportunity. That's how I'm going to see it, and that's how I'm going to act. Hope you act accordingly, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.